Heyo YouTube, MusicMan1310 here, and I just want to give a quick little list of do's and don'ts when you're a pro player. I'm going to start off with the do's because a lot of people don't want to start off negative, and neither do I, and I'm already in a bad mood making this video as is. I'll explain why when I go into the don'ts section, but as far as do's, if you do want to become a competitive player, what you need to do is you need to be good. You need to do good. Now, what I mean is that if you're given a role like Slayer or Objective Player or support, then you need to be good at that role. For instance, on UnseenLegacy, I am the support player, so I'm the one that's supposed to call out all the shots and pretty much back up the team when they need to be. And so far, I've done a pretty good job of that in Search and Destroy, or at least I would say so. And I think a couple of my teammates would say so, even my team captain. But overall, that's pretty much what I do. I'm good at being a support as well as being good as an objective player, which is why you see the support objective thing in my tag underneath the videos every time I stream, or my webcam at least. So that's one thing that you need to do. Another thing you need to do is communicate with the team. I've made a whole episode about roles of a pro team where communication was key, and it still holds true. Whenever you're working as a team, you really need to communicate with the team, like say where you're going, who's where, what the plan is, what do you think will or won't work, because there's no way that you can be a better team than by letting everybody know what's going on in your mind. Now, that may lead into some arguments, which I'm going to go over an example later. So just be ready for that, because really it's like the only way to get better as a team is to be at the lowest points in your career, so to speak. I wouldn't actually call it a career unless you're doing it specifically for the competition, but if you want to consider it a career, then yeah, you need to be at the lowest point of it. Another thing that you need to do is you also need to practice. Now, I go straight into game battles or UMG online with my team, and that to me just, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, simply because the team comp that we were going, we had two pretty good Slayers. There's me as a pretty good support, and then there's a pretty good objective player that we have. So in theory, we should work. Now, here's the thing, it's like, I kind of go off of the energy that my teammates give, and this is me personally, which is why I like to take charge in something like this, simply because it's like, I know how to control a bunch of my emotions. I know what to tolerate, what not to tolerate when it comes to being a team leader. So there's a lot that I can put in, but unless I'm given the leadership position, I'd rather just hold back to myself, and I'm pretty much showing that I respect my team captain's decisions and all that. Yeah. So pretty much with that, it's like, I know what I'm doing, and I know pretty much that we need to practice. Now, I could just say that we have a team to scrim against, but in reality, we don't. A lot of the teams that we play against, they're just there for the competition to get the win or the loss or whatever it is that's going on, and we really don't have time to practice. I mean, I don't have full time to practice. I can't be taking this like an 8-hour a day type job, simply because I have a job outside of Call of Duty, so I don't have time to put in. So I guess the only way to get better is just by doing more UMG or game battles or whatever it is that we're doing. But overall, it's like, if you're gonna try to be a part of a team, whether you're joining a team or even forming your own team, make sure that you have time to practice, because it's a huge mistake that we're not practicing, and I hope that we have the time at some point. Like, we don't even need to do game battles all day. Or not all day, but we don't even need to do it every day. Like, maybe we can do it once a week and then spend the previous few days just practicing, getting to work better as a team, but make sure that you actually have somebody to scrim with. I'm gonna check to see if I can scrim with the teams that I mentioned earlier in this video. So I'm gonna see if that's going to work, and then bring it up to my captain and see what he thinks. But if you're watching this, Cali Kid, then leave a comment if you think it's a good idea that we should practice and I should contact the team. But anyways, moving on. The last do that I have is do be respectful to your teammates. Now, it's like
Music man,
I
watch it.
go into ranked in both League of Legends and Call of Duty, more so Call of Duty than League of Legends. And one of the first things that I see right off the bat in the pregame lobby is
Nice.
I see toxic players, especially when I'm solo queuing. So what does that tell me? It tells me that they're there just for the easy win. They think that they're the best of the best and that they don't need anybody else. And that is not true. In a team-based game, you do need the team. And I know that I emphasize do a lot there, but it's like you really can't win a game that's team-based without a team. So with that, just be sure to be respectful of your team. That's the only way that's going to work. You might disagree, you might have a few arguments, but as long as you're respectful to everybody within your team, then things will work out. And that's why I haven't left Unseen Legacy just yet. And this is going to be my segue into the don'ts. So what happened that got me in this mood and inspired me to make this video? We were doing UMG online. It was best out of 3, search and destroy. We lost the first one, and it was kind of like an unfair loss simply because I needed to do something for a quick couple of minutes. And when I came back, we already had lost the round. But I tried to bring it back. I really did try to bring it back. It just didn't work, so we ended up losing that game. And then we went on to their host, and we were down 5-0. No, 0-5, I should say, because you shouldn't put the higher number first unless that's your team in my mind. No, but we were down 0-5. I was the last guy on my team, and at that point, I heard that my team captain, Calicid, wanted to just leave, and I called him out for wanting to rage quit. And while he was defensive, bottom line is that if you want to leave simply because you know you're going to lose, that's rage quitting. And as a team captain, that should not be tolerated. So what I told him is that if you rage quit, I'm leaving the team. And I stand strong by that. In fact, I stand so strong by it that it ended up being, if you even think about rage quitting again, I'm leaving the team. That's pretty much how it is. Now, I won't know what exactly it is you're thinking, but pretty much all you have to do to make me think that you're thinking about rage quitting is simply by mentioning it. Now, usually I can tell it in the tone of the voice, but if there are too many people talking, then maybe you have like a segue. But overall, if you're a team leader or even just a team player, the first don't that I'm going to tell you is don't rage quit. If you want to be a pro player like I do and like my team does, everybody in my team wants to be a professional Call of Duty player, which is awesome. But if you want to be a pro player, you need to just don't even think about rage quitting, because if you think about rage quitting, that means you've already lost. You've already given up hope. And once you give up hope, you give up everything. Really, that's just the sad truth. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not you're rage quitting because you can't get your shots on, or you're rage quitting because you're dying in the stupidest way, or even simply because you're losing. But a rage quit is still a rage quit. You're quitting because you've already declared the loss when the game is still going on. Now, usually I see that more in ranked at the halftime point, if there is one. So in ranked, I really have no control over for what people do as far as staying or quitting. But when it came to Unseen Legacy in both of those matches, I felt like it was my job to keep the team together. And so just by hearing my captain say that he wanted to rage quit, that to me sends a bad example to the rest of the team, which were all against it. But by the way, me and the other 2 players on the team, we were all against rage quitting. But it's like there's nothing else that I can do except if you're going to rage quit, then I'm off the team. Simple as that. I will not tolerate rage quitting at all. The next don't that I have is don't play the blame game. A lot of people like to play the blame game when something goes wrong. And what the blame game is you try to figure out what's going on, but instead of looking at how you did, you look at how your teammates did, and then it ends up being, oh, I wasn't able to get the bomb down because both of our slayers were dead, or oh, I can't concentrate because our supporter is just making nonsense and doing bad callouts. Don't do that, because if that truly affects your gameplay, then try playing with random no, I wouldn't say random people, because then that just promotes the blame game. But try playing by yourself with bots on veteran, all of them against you. I've actually done that, and I've done it with the radar off, and I ended up being like top 3 player in that lobby, so I know that my shot is good. My plays are questionable, but they're still on par. But overall, it's like, I know that if something goes wrong, it's probably on me. I probably made a mistake that any human player can pick up and pretty much punish me for it. But if I show a good game and we still lost, then I would need to take the step back and see what my teammates did, let them know what they did if they don't already know, and pretty much inform them on some tips that I would give if I was in that position. So it all comes down basically to how good of a leader you are, and if you're a good enough leader, then you wouldn't even think about playing the blame game. So that shouldn't really be on your mind, as well as rage quitting. Personally, it's like, if you play the blame game and you're the one that's thinking about rage quitting, then that's just a red flag right there that you need to just leave the team, or just think about what you want to do as a pro Call of Duty player or a pro gamer even, because a lot of games are team-based in the pro scene. Because it's like, those two things shouldn't even fit your mind. And the last don't that I have for you is, don't easily give up. A lot of the pros that you see, like Nadeshot, like Aches, Crimp6, all those pros, they have been through so many losses to get to where they're at. I'm going to use Optic Gaming as an example. Optic Gaming, if you don't know, started off with Big T, Merc, Rambo, I believe, and Diesel, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the whole history of Optic Gaming, because I first saw them when it was Nadeshot, Scump, Big T, and Merc. That was the roster that I started off with. But when you see them now, they're 2K champions, they're 5K champions, when last year they only won one tournament, the MLG X Games. So it's like they have had a lot of losses within the past 4 years even, but now all that is paying off because they know who to get, they know who are valuable assets, and they went after them. When you think about it, Complexity was the top team, and that was originally Clayster, Crimp6, Aches, and TP. Aches and TP, you really couldn't separate the two. They've been together for years. But after they dropped Clayster, they picked up Karma, and even though they still were on the spree, second half of Ghost, they just were falling apart with, especially when Karma left. But now, when you see the whole roster of Complexity, it was Complexity, Evil Genius, then they got all dropped, or the contracts all just got released. FaZe went on to, or Aches went on to FaZe, and everybody else went on to Optic. TP and Karma are on Optic Nation, but Crimp6 is on Optic Gaming. And me personally, I think that Crimp6 is a very strong player, especially as a Slayer. So I think that was a good choice. Another good choice that they did was picking up Formal, because Formal, if you don't know, is both a Call of Duty and a Halo champion. So that just shows that he has the skills to be a winner, so to speak. I don't want to say to be on Optic Gaming, because Every team has the skills to be whatever team they are. But it's really, when it comes to a pro player, all they want to do is win. But a lot of them want to earn the win rather than have it given to them. And that's where the practices comes in. So don't ever think about quitting. The only reason why I would think about quitting competitive Call of Duty is if either A, I have nothing to prove as far as me being a pro player, which right now I have everything to prove, and B is if there's something else that right now needs my attention more than Call of Duty. And right now it's like I'm still kind of mixing up a few things. I'm doing this until I'm certain that this will or won't work. So until that point happen, I'm juggling this. I'm juggling my other part-time job. Excuse me. And I'm also juggling school as well. So I'm juggling 3 things, as well as family and social life, and also personal time, because Call of Duty and YouTubing, they take up a lot of time if you're trying to go pro. A lot of the pro players play 8 to 10 hours a day simply because they have that time. Whereas me, I only have, let's see here. With me, I work from about 8 to 2:30, so that's roughly 6.5 hours. And then I have the rest of that out of the day to practically do what I want. But what ends up happening is that I need to focus on, say, scholarships for school, so I can actually go to school. And so that's like another couple of hours working on that, so that makes it 8.5 hours. Not to mention that I take roughly 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Let's just go with 7 hours to put it right in the middle. So that's what, 15.5 hours already? And all that is just mix of social and family time. So that's like another 4 hours right there. And you can see that the hours that I have being me are starting to build up. And the hours that I can put into the game is really not that much to begin with. And that includes sleeping, eating, breaking, and all of that. But guess what? I'm not done with Pro Call of Duty yet. I'm still trying to work my way to prove that I can hang with the pros, that I am a pro myself. And right now, I definitely believe that I have the skills. I definitely believe that I have the dedication. I just need the time, and the only way that I can get time is if I actually work my way with whatever I have left to pretty much prove and push myself to become the best that I can be. And once I reach my peak, that's when I'll either hit a plateau or I'll start going downhill. So I'm sorry for this being a long video. I just need to get it out of my system simply because that just devastated me, the UMG match that I mentioned halfway into the video. But anyways, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more. Again, I apologize for making this long. I do have a Twitter. It'll be in the description below. And before I sign out, I just want to say if you want to know a little bit more about the team that I'm on, they're called the UnseenLegacy. There's no space, capital U, capital L. We do have a UMG Online account. That's going to be in the description below. You're going to see my PlayStation gamer tag on it, the Museman1310, who is signing out now. Peace.